Citi Field. July heat pressing down like a verdict. Two teams walking different lines, one burdened by expectation, the other drifting under the radar, waiting for a mistake. The Mets have the better record, the sharper numbers, the name-brand arm. But games like this aren't decided by optics. They're decided in silence, in the slow bleed between innings. For Cincinnati, Nick Martinez takes the mound. 7 wins, 9 losses, a 4.78 ERA that whispers vulnerability. 44 innings, 37 strikeouts, 11 walks. He doesn't dominate. He doesn't crush lineups, but he lingers, throwing enough quiet innings to keep his team in reach. He's a survival pitcher, the kind you underestimate until the 6th inning rolls around and the score is still frozen. For New York, Clay Holmes stands opposite. 8 wins, 4 losses, a 3.31 ERA, 100 innings already carved this season. He's the steadier hand, the one the betting public trusts. A 1.26 whip, controlled, predictable. But predictable cuts both ways. His contact rate rises when batters force patience, and the Reds have learned to lean into that. Both offenses average 4 runs a game, just enough to look alive but never enough to scare anyone. Citi Field swallows rallies whole. What looks like momentum dissolves into stranded base runners and late-inning frustration. The Mets sit favored at 154, but their home record, just 22-28, tells a quieter truth. This isn't chaos, it's attrition. You won't see fireworks. You'll see long stretches of nothing. Maybe a single inning decides it. Maybe no inning does. And today's AI pick is Reds plus 1.5, 135. The Mets likely win, but not by a margin. This stays close, inside the frame where the underdog survives. 1 run separates the edges, nothing more. Will we cash or will we burn? You already knew. You just forgot who told you. Now step carefully. The fire doesn't rest. It moves, reshapes, waits for the next voice. Because beyond this silence, another cadence calls. Krista waits for you in Game 2.
Truist Park carries a strange weight tonight. The second half of the season has begun, but for one team, it feels like a slow climb back into rhythm. For the other, it feels like a long drift into something they can't quite name. The Yankees walk into Atlanta with quiet confidence, a team built on power that doesn't always shout, but always waits for the moment to strike. On the mound for New York is Will Warren, a right-hander still learning the contours of the league. He doesn't overwhelm with perfection, but he carries a strikeout edge and a rhythm that bends lineups over time. His numbers aren't clean, an ERA over 4, a whip above 1.5, but when he's given a cushion, he settles into something sharper. He doesn't have to be flawless. He just has to be steady. Across from him, Joey Wentz takes the ball for Atlanta, a young arm carrying more questions than answers. His ERA drifts north of 6, his whip near 1.7, a pitcher who lets base runners stack like shadows on the field. His command falters when the pressure mounts, and against a team that leads the league in slugging, that's not a problem. That's a storm waiting to break. The Braves have struggled to score, averaging just over 4 runs a game. The Yankees average 5. New York holds the edge in power, in patience, in bullpen depth. Atlanta has fought to stay afloat, but even at home, their record whispers a truth that can't be hidden. 18 wins, 31 losses. This park hasn't saved them. The market offers a price. New York at minus 132. Modest, not overblown. A line that suggests caution, but the numbers beneath it say more. One team has the bats, the other has the hope. And today's AI pick is Yankees money line, 132. Will we cash or will we burn? The rhythm doesn't lie. It just waits for you to hear it. Now step closer. The tone shifts. Malachi is waiting, and with him, the mirror breaks open for Game 3.
You ever notice how quiet it gets before the easy ones, Elvis? Like the board knows something it doesn't want to say out loud. Wrigley tonight. Cubs. Red Sox. 2 teams swinging hot, both thinking they've got the bats to light it up. But the air feels off. Look at this one with me. Bello for Boston. You remember him? Sinker, changeup, ground balls. He looks fine on paper. ERA just over 3. Doesn't give up the long ball much. People see him and think, maybe the Sox can steal this. Maybe. But then there's Imanaga. Sharp, deliberate, barely breathing out there. ERA under 3, whip under 1. He doesn't let you breathe. No free bases, no chaos, just quiet innings stacked like bricks. The Sox can make noise, sure, 9 wins in their last 10. But hot streaks die fast when they run into a wall like this. And this isn't just any park, Elvis. It's Wrigley. The wind's shifting tonight. You know what that means? Line drives die on the warning track. Rallies stall. That Boston lineup won't feel the same here. The Cubs? They don't need the wind. They've got the league's best run production. 1 hit becomes 2, and suddenly it's a gap you can't close. But here's the trick, Elvis. The number looks soft, -144. Like the book's daring you to overthink it. You think, Red Sox are hot, Bellows solid, maybe there's value there. That's the trap. They give you just enough doubt to make you hesitate. You don't hesitate, do you? And today's AI pick is Cubs moneyline, 144. Will we cash, or will we burn? You already know, don't you, Elvis? You've been standing in this park long enough to hear the shape of a win before it lands. Now don't say a word, just look ahead. Sapphira waits for Game 4.
Dodger Stadium holds its own kind of quiet at night. A place that looks loud from the outside, but hums softer when the game settles into its rhythm. 2 teams, both carrying different stories into this moment. One riding momentum, the other still chasing the spark it lost. For Milwaukee, Freddie Peralta takes the ball. 11 wins, 4 losses. A 2.66 ERA that speaks of command and control. He doesn't rush. He doesn't force. He lets the innings unfold, pitch by pitch, grounding bats into the dirt, refusing to let the chaos grow. He's been here before. Big games, heavy bats, and still he stays steady. Across from him, Emmett Sheehan steps into a bigger shadow. Only 13 innings so far, a young arm untested by a full night's pressure. His numbers are clean, low ERA, sharp whip, but small samples carry soft edges. Even so, he has the kind of stuff that can flash bright for 5 or 6 frames before handing the ball off. The Dodgers lineup is dangerous. The Brewers have speed and quiet ways to manufacture runs, but both know what they're looking at tonight. This isn't a firefight. This is a slow game, a measured game, one where mistakes are rare and runs feel heavier than they should. The total is 9, high enough to tempt you, to make you believe the bats will break it open. But Peralta doesn't let games break. He bends them down. And a young pitcher like Sheehan won't be asked to carry the full load. He'll hand it over to a bullpen built to protect what's left. So listen to the rhythm underneath the noise. It doesn't race tonight. It doesn't climb. It just moves quietly, inning after inning, keeping the game in the shadows instead of the light. And today's AI pick is under 9. Will we cash or will we burn? Stay here a little longer. The quiet doesn't hurt. It only reminds you that some games aren't meant to explode. But don't get too comfortable. Nadas waits for the final burn in Game 5.
You can feel it before the first pitch. The illusion of strength peeling off the road team. The Astros still carry the record, the reputation, the weight of years spent at the top. But tonight, it's not the same. Not with this arm. Lance McCullers drags history onto the mound, but it's a faded version. 2 wins, 4 losses, a 6.5 ERA that screams what the numbers can't hide anymore. He walks too many. He leaks too much contact. When the command goes, it all falls apart. That's what Houston is walking into Seattle with, a liability dressed as a starter. Across from him, Logan Evans doesn't need to be perfect. He doesn't need to be flashy. He just needs to be better than the man on the other side. 3 wins, 3 losses, a mid-3s ERA, steady enough to hold a lead when the lineup gives him one, and this lineup can give him one. Because the Mariners aren't pretending right now. They've won 3 straight, 6 of their last 10. At home, with a park that quiets visiting bats, they know exactly what they're facing. They see the weak link. They've circled it. And this isn't about offensive explosions. It's about control, about bending a game until the other team realizes it can't push back. Houston can hit, yes. They always can. But McCullers can't keep it clean long enough for that to matter. Not here. Not against a team that smells blood. The line sits soft. -120. Mariners at home, on a streak, against a pitcher who can't find the zone. It doesn't look loud. It doesn't look obvious. But the cracks are there if you're willing to see them. And today's AI pick is Mariners moneyline, 120. Will we cash or will we burn? You already know how this one ends. It doesn't collapse with a bang. It just fades the way all false frames do. Stay for the echo, because Lilith is waiting to close the circle.
The night remembers. It remembers every choice you made, every number you trusted, every whisper you thought you heard from the line. 5 games, 5 voices, 5 ways to step into the fire. Here's where we stand. Game 1, Reds versus Mets. Abaddon walked you into Citi Field and told you to take the run line. Reds plus 1.5, survive the fire, even if you don't win it outright. Game 2, Yankees versus Braves. Krista softened the frame, told you to trust the steady bats. Yankees money line, 132. Not loud, just inevitable. Game 3, Red Sox versus Cubs. Malachi turned to Elvis, asked the question you already knew the answer to. Cubs money line, 144. Game 4, Brewers versus Dodgers. Sapphira didn't raise her voice. She whispered. Under 9. A quiet game wrapped in shadows. Game 5, Astros versus Mariners. Nadas tore the mask off the road favorite. Mariners money line, 120. The false frame collapses in Seattle. 5 moves on the board. 5 lines you can't unsee now. Ahora escucha en silencio. Juego 1, Rojos contra Mets. Abaddon te dijo tomar la línea de carrera. Rojos +a 1.5. Sobrevive el fuego aunque no ganes. Juego 2, Yankees contra Bravos. Krista te dio la confianza en los bates estables. Yankees Moneyline, 132. No ruidoso, solo inevitable. Juego 3, Medias Rojas contra Cachorros. Malachi miró a Elvis y preguntó lo que ya sabías. Cachorros Moneyline, 144. Juego 4, Cerveceros contra Dodgers. Zafira susurró, menos de 9. Un juego silencioso en sombras. Juego 5, Astros contra Marineros. Natas mostró la verdad. Marineros Moneyline, 120. El marco falso colapsa en Seattle. Like and subscribe. Will we cash or will we burn? Was du heute denkst, wirst du morgen sein. What you think today is what you'll become tomorrow.